Hello and welcome back to Necromancy 101. Today I got a couple questions in about what happens to necromancers when we die, liches, and stuff like that. And so I figured I'd take the time to address both of those questions. The easy response to what happens to a necromancer when a necromancer dies is they become a corpse. Usually, for your average necromancer, like probably what's going to happen to me, when I die, I just become a body on the ground. Just kind of there. Now, theoretically, another necromancer could raise me back up, and if there's another necromancer on hand, they could do that right after I die, like I've done earlier this year, but that would really make me more just sort of a repository of necromantic knowledge. So, I mean, which would be helpful to a young necromancer if they needed someone sort of to guide them through the steps on the theory of the thing. But, nothing really beyond that. Now, on the side of liches, as sort of everybody knows, liches are necromancers or other magical users who've managed to resurrect themselves from the, well, I guess let's just stick with necromancers. Necromancers who have managed to raise themselves up back from the dead after they have died, gone on to gain great power, and then done stuff and lived on for centuries. So there's the standard problem of that is that, your standard zombie can't do magic. That's part of a zombie, because your magic comes from that fundamental life stuff that flows into you, and that's where your magic comes from. Oozes out your fingertips. Now, zombies don't have that. They don't have a magic stuff in the heart of their being. So, and then of course there's a second question of with a lich. A lich is created when a necromancer somehow raises themselves. Now, you can't become a lich without being dead first. So, being a lich would require some elaborate Rube Goldberg level magics, and you'd have to know exactly when you die. So you'd have to take a poison or something, like that, and then it resurrects you. Then you'd have to keep sacrificing things every day in order to keep yourself going, because your standard zombie gets their energy from their necromancer. And a lich type zombie would not have that. They wouldn't have a necromancer to do that, because that would mean submitting themselves to somebody else. So you'd have to sacrifice a chicken every day in order to keep yourself animated. Maybe a pig if you wanted to do some simple spells. Now, obviously, you're thinking of a lich, you're thinking of a really powerful, zombie that's able to make more zombies. And so that's some human sacrifices in order to do serious level magic. I mean, you'd have to have a really fantastic knowledge of how magic works, or just sacrifice people every day. And so the flip would come, of course, where you get that, and that's the problem. And so most zombies would wither away. Now, theoretically, Dr. von Strauss had suggested in his book that you could do that, but you need lots of people. Now, obviously, a Dr. von Strauss had access to the camps, but that was back in the 30s and the 40s when you had that sort of thing, and you could get away with just having lots of people locked up to use for whatever reason. And now you have things like the World Accord and the Geneva Conventions and the UN, stuff like that, and they get upset about, mass slaughtering of people. I mean, I suppose there are still some places in the world where you can get away with that, but at the same time, it's not encouraged. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really have a whole lot more detailed knowledge on liches and stuff, because that's all in volume, the first edition of Dr. von Strauss's book, and I don't have that. So, there you go. So, sorry to disappoint everybody, but that's all I have to say about liches and what happens as necromancers when we die. So, I hope that answered your questions. Like and subscribe. I will see you guys next week.